Yo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 4 of the McGruder Files, presented by Kingdom Cast, where we dissect the kingdom like a post-game film session, raw, real, and relentless. I'm your host, Philip P. Mac McGruder, diving deep into the hearts, minds, and mics of Chiefs Nation, Chiefs Kingdom's boldest voices. Tonight, I got a straight fire lineup starting tonight here with my brother from the same red blood, DG, better known as underscore keep it prolific on X. This man's a cornerstone of the pod game. My ride and die fellow Kingdom Cast member, who I'm happy to now join, dropping gems on every Chiefs hot take. He's one half of the Unfiltered Truth Bombs on the Tell the Truth podcast with D-Mac and CJ. Spitting facts that hit harder than Chris Jones on the blind side. And don't sleep on his co-host vibes with Trey, who I had on episode 2, who I'm going to bring back again soon on the Redshirt podcast, breaking down college to pro pipelines like nobody's business. And my boy is a DJ for Sports After Dark, man. And, keeping the 142 Chiefs locked in. My guy, bro, Horns fan, Longhorns. This man's prolific for a reason. DG, what's good, brother?
Appreciate it. That's probably the best intro I've ever gotten on another show. So appreciate that, bro. Appreciate being here. What's up, everybody?
Yeah. So man, I had to have you on, man, because I love your takes, especially we on the Kingdom Cast podcast. And the night after we put belt to ass on the Lions, boy, I was happy you said your shit, bro. And then them fans started coming on. Even after me and Chris's episode last week, one of the fans from the Lions commented on my stuff like, "You guys are gonna talk about Brian Burns." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, y'all still talking about this a week after? God damn."
Yeah, man. Especially, don't let us blow you out, man. Like if the Chiefs face you, don't let it be a blowout, because you're definitely not gonna get normal DG.
You're not getting normal DG.
You guys got normal DG tonight. Analytical DG is here, but yeah, if it's a blowout or we win a big game, yes, it's more than likely ski mask DG is pulling up. So
hell yeah. Absolutely, bro. So let's unpack this 4-3 heater, that Norman Lott gut punch that happened on Sunday, and why I feel like this is a Super Bowl and bust team, especially this year, man. So let's get right into segment 1, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Sorry, Kingdom. We're gonna recap news from like the last week game. Talking about, we're gonna drop that week 7 recap like a Mahomes dime. We cooked the Raiders, or in other words, belt to ass, 31-0. First regular season shutout since 2011. First overall since 2015, when we beat the Texans 30-0 in that playoff game, our first playoff win at that time since 94, when we had Joe Montana, Marcus Allen, and all those other guys, man. The Chiefs rolled. We're 4-3 now, winning 4 of our last 5. The offense put on a clinic again. 434 yards to Vegas. To Vegas's measly 95. 30 first downs to their only 3. Fewest in the game since 2008. Mahomes was dealing 26 of 35, 286 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no picks, hitting 9 different targets. Rashee Rice back from the jump, 7 catches, 42 yards, 2 scores. EGE, we've been saying it a lot, especially here on throughout Kingdom Cast. You one of the main guys who've been vocalizing that word EGE out there, bro. Andy rehyped the trust of Pat's gotten him. That's energy. That energy is just electric when those two click together. The offense went 8 for 9 on third downs early, dropping 28 points for the 4th straight week. We're 12th in rushing, bro. On pace to be in top 7 or maybe a top 5 finishing rushing on with a top 5 offense. Yeah. Defensively, straight bullies held the Raiders to 0 on 7 on third downs, under 100 total yards, that 95. When you scored that 31, I'm going to keep saying again, then their plays, 30. They had 30 plays, no points, but we scored more than the total plays that they had.
Yeah.
Chris Jones said it best. Offense sets it up to rush, and we feast. Defense ranks 5th allowed in yards allowed, and 3rd in points allowed. The 3rd fewest points allowed. That's Spags' number. Injuries, emotional, Lions dub. Then this energy, that's Chiefs football. Fear nothing, attack everything, bro. But it wasn't all roses. You know, injuries hit. Trey Smith's back. We heard that he will be okay and ready. Jawan Taylor shoulder, he should be good and ready to go for Monday night. But the one that got us the gut punch, as I mentioned early, Omar Norman Lott went down with a knee injury, ACL, and they say he is done for the year. But we'll talk about the trade ideas, especially for somebody to replace him later on within the show. But Mahomes knows it. 4-3 ain't enough, but we're gelling. Everything's ahead. Next up, 3 days from now, Monday Night Football. Commanders rolling the Arrowhead, but Jayden Daniels is out with a hamstring. And Mariota's up. The return of Mariota for the first time since that Titans game. And we're 12.5 favorites. It's time to stack those wins. So what was your thoughts about that game on Sunday and everything, man?
Yeah, it's always good beating the Raiders for one. I kind of always go back to when I was a kid. Raider week used to come around, you know. Back then it was a little bit different just because the Raiders were really good.
Yeah.
You know, like I told people, you had the Rich Gannon, Sebastian Janikowski, Tyrone Wheatley, and you know, those guys used to come out to Arrowhead and he used to give us the business. So losing those, you know, especially growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in, was, like I said, it was predominantly black, but also predominantly Hispanic too. So you have, you know, Raider fans from the other side that you had to deal with, and you just pray, man, like going to school, please let the Chiefs beat the Raiders. Just that's the only team I used to care about beating, because you didn't want to go to school the next day and get clowned by, you know, all them Raider fans up there. So yeah, it's always good beating them, man. I really thought the offense was that's probably the most efficient game they've had this season, where, you know, they just flawlessly moved the ball up the field. And I thought they looked good against the Lions on Sunday night, the previous week before. But to come in this week, you know, especially after, you know, a big win against a really good team, and to not have a letdown at home was really good to see. They seem like they're firing on all cylinders. It seems like Matt Nagy and Andy Reid have really started to figure out the identity of what this team is going to be. And I think a lot of that has to do with how the offensive line has played, the tackle play, even with with things that have been going on with Josh Simmons. Jalen Morris stepped in and been very serviceable at the tackle spot. That's something that last year, if we were in this same position, it wouldn't look like that at all. You'd probably be pretty nervous heading to that Raider game. But, you know, Jalen Moore gives you that confidence to go out there and know that you can still execute. And Jawan Taylor has played his butt off, especially these last 3 weeks, you know, just cleaning up the penalties and then, you know, being able to be one of the better tackles in the league. So, yeah, I thought the offense looked great defensively. Man, Geno Smith and them just had no answers whatsoever. I thought they did a horrible job of not getting Ashton Jeanty involved early on.
Yeah.
And then you could just tell that things aren't the same when they don't have Jacoby Myers or Brock Bowers out there to be, you know, their two top receiving weapons. So I thought, you know, Steve Spagnuolo really put the game in Geno's hands and took away Ashton Jeanty, and it just didn't go according to plan of how, you know, the Raiders probably would have foresaw it. So, yeah, great to beat the Raiders, man. Glad to be 4-3, especially heading into Monday night, and hopefully they can continue this train of playing good, efficient football going into Monday night.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, just like you said there, even though we're not rooting for the Raiders, it was disappointing to not see Jeanty be used as much, because I was just like, y'all serious about beating us? I mean, every team wants to put their best player especially at each position out there, to do their best. And it's like what you just said there too. The offensive line also is part of the biggest part. Anyway, like I used to hear when I used to play football, especially back at Washington High School. The team ain't nothing really without the offensive line moving everything. And once the offensive line clicks, then everybody moves. The offense moves as a unit because the guys up front at the line of scrimmage. And that's always been true. And the siege of wine and everybody, even Jalen Moore stepping in for Josh Simmons, and to get a lot of praise from former all-pro left tackles out there or offensive tackles, especially including our guy Mitch Morris and David Bakari, who's the former blindside protector of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, was an all-pro. It's great to see that, especially seeing the investments we put in there, and our investments are being put to great use. And speaking of Josh Simmons, we heard that Josh should be back with the team in a few weeks, which is what we want to hear. It's similar like what I told Derek Johnson years ago. I met him at a KU game out here in Lawrence 11 years ago. And that was, remember, he tore his ACL against the Titans week 1 in 2014. Mm-hmm. So he was walking up the hill and everything else like that. And, we took a picture and everything else like that. I was starstruck because it's DJ, man. I think DJ is one of the not only one of the greatest linebackers of all time, but the greatest Chiefs linebacker of all time, too.
Sure.
I just remember just telling him, too, and I remember he really looked in my eyes as I'm telling him this, because it was me coming off as I'm not no fan, but just somebody who really cares at you, as if I was a relative, saying man, don't listen to what the coaches tell you. Come back when you're ready.
Yeah. And
I kind of feel like that's where Josh Simmons is at now. Because remember when DJ came back, he came back better than ever. 2015, he was firing on all cylinders until, he got hurt again in that 2016 game, that Thursday night football game against the Raiders. So, yeah, man, it's all about taking that time and everything and making sure everybody gets back in, like we mentioned, just gelling together. And this is the right time right now. And it's like what you said earlier, man. Right now we got analytical DG right now. But when we blow these other teams out, y'all been warned. Let me just put it to you guys like that. So that's all y'all need to know. Yeah. That's your ass, like Martin told Gina when, she killed my mama bird. That's your ass, Gina. So you've been warned. So anyway, Sunday was the Mahomes show. Dude was flamethrower. I mentioned, the 2 for 35, 286, 3 tutties, no picks, carving up Vegas like a Thanksgiving turkey, through week 7. Pat is sitting pretty, leading the NFL with 18 total offensive touchdowns. That's passing and rushing, man. You name it. Since week 4, he's second in passing yards with 1,131, 30 touchdown passes with 11. And in 3 of those 4 games, he's dropping about at least 270 passing yards a game and 3 scores. That's crazy. This man's playing chess while the other defenses is playing checkers.
Yeah.
MVP bet the house on it. Absolutely, man. And everybody already, you saw in the first 4 weeks, his odds dropped where it started at plus 100 or something, and then dropped all the way down to plus 1,000. I bet you somebody is happy right now with that plus 1,000 right now, if you know what I mean. So what just makes him lethal is that he's got the whole squad eating. EGE, man. 9 different receivers caught a pass Sunday. Second time this season he's hit that mark, matching week 4's Baltimore dub. Over the last 4 weeks, he's spreading it to at least 8 different pass catchers every game. 8 dudes had at least 14 plus yards against the Raiders. That's the most by any team in a single season this year.
Yeah.
Kelsey, Worthy, Juju, Noah, Gray, finally. Tyquan Thornton. Everybody got a plate. But the man of the hour, Rashee freaking Rice, man. He stormed back this season after being sidelined with that knee injury and that suspension. He didn't miss a beat, man. I kind of had a feeling he didn't miss it. Those 7 catches, 42 yards, 2 tutties, leading the team with 10 targets as well. Doubling the next guy. Flashback to last year. Before going down in week 3, he led the NFL with 24 catches and was second with 288 receiving yards. Now he's back. Mahomes is locking in like they never skipped the snap, and that's connection is going to carry us deep. So everybody should know that, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the connection. Good to see Rashee and Pat come back together. I've been talking for a while, like who's going to be the next guy that kind of takes over for Trav's spot. You know, when he moves on to be that safety blanket, to be that guy that Pat can kind of look to trust. And I think you've all found him in number 4. You can clearly tell the emphasis of what it means to get him the ball in this offense at this point in time. Especially the way they went to him early on in the game of just trying to get him set up and get him in the flow of being back in this offense. So, man, Rasheed's talent is unlimited at this point. I think he's still got ways he can still go or whatever. That back shoulder fade on the second touchdown is something that hopefully for this offense is something that they can unlock for the foreseeable future. And if they can do that, man, they're going to be dangerous for a long time to come. You think of all the connections of the past, the Rodgers to Devontae Adams, Tom Brady to Rob Gronkowski, for those guys, or the Peyton Mannings to Marvin Harrisons and Reggie Waynes. Like, you think about those connections and you just see the unlimited potential that Rasheed and Mahomes could have for their career. So it's great to see Rasheed back, man. I'm glad to see he brings an infectious personality to the team as well too. The smile, the attitude, and the confidence that he walks out there on the field with. You can clearly tell guys are enamored by him or whatever when he's back on the field. So it's great to see him back out there. Great to see him, Xavier, and Hollywood having fun and really being able to enjoy themselves. And I think the sky's the limit for them.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I feel like this other part of like why I'm excited with Rasheed's presence back, man, because now I'm going to just say this. I wouldn't call us the Legion of Zoom anymore. I'm just going to say it because for years I was saying it before everybody used the term Legion of Zoom. Mm-hmm. We're the Monstars. I'm sorry. We're just the Monstars, and everybody's just going to have to deal with it. And like, you got EGE, man. Everybody got E. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So here's the thing, too. You saw my comment as I was commenting on you guys' show and Tell the Truth, mentioning the run game. I think that's also going to play a big part too, because something in my head was like, I needed to mention that to you guys and also bring it up with you tonight, because it's for everybody to listen to, because down the road, don't be surprised if the Chiefs finish top 5 or top 10 in rushing. Yeah. If they do, come back to this podcast. I'm just going to say it now. You've been warned. Okay. Right. So I was just breaking down our run game, just sitting pretty at 12th overall in the league. And, CJ was like, really? Wow, bro. I didn't realize that. We all know most of that is Pat out here wilding out, 42 carries, 250 yards rushing, 4 TDs. He's carrying the load. But check this out. We're on pace to finish, like I said, top 7, maybe – top 7, top 5 in rushing, along with being a top 5 overall offense. I'm telling you, that's why I'm crossing running back off the trade target list. We don't need to hit the market when we got Pacheco, Kareem, and now Brashard Smith holding it down in this running back committee vibe. Yo, what's up, bro? Yeah. You look at Pacheco, man. Dude's on track for at least another 196 carry season, 840 plus rushing yards. I think he might finish with 4 rushing touchdowns, 30 plus catches, maybe 160 plus receiving, and 2 other extra grabs. That's like a total of 6 total touchdowns. That would put him at his first 1,000 yard from scrimmage season since 2023. And I've been saying, people, if he gets back to being that guy, we should be all right. Then you got Kareem, our red zone bulldozer, who I project to finish with 150 plus carries, about 600 rushing yards, and I think he's on pace to having the most rushing touchdowns than anybody on the team. Exactly the goal line hammer we've been missing. And even when we had Tyreek Hill, I've been saying we need a goal line hammer. We need a goal line guy like that. And of course, you guys been talking about this guy too, man. I'm happy to talk about him too. Brashard Smith, bro. Yep. He's heating up. Career high 19 touches against the Raiders, 81 total yards of offense, including most of those came from 5 catches for 42 yards receiving. Jet McKinnon 2.0 is here, people. This trio's got us covered, pushing that top 10 rushing attack, along with Mahomes keeping our offense top 5. So before we go to the next part of this segment, talking about the trades and everything, you got anything else to say about that? About the run game and
Yeah, I think just right now they figured out the roles of who's gonna kind of do what. You've kind of got Pacheco being your first and second down kind of back, the workload. Kareem comes in on those short yardage plays when they really need him and in the red zone, just based off of how he runs the ball and his vision that they like to use in those areas. And then Brashard Smith is that kind of change of pace. And I've been saying that the touches that they even give him in the receiving game have what I figure is the kind of the extension of the run game to this point. So
yeah,
they're just figuring out the roles. And I've been saying that I don't think the need for running back is necessary at this point in time, unless something knock on wood catastrophic happens or whatever, where you need to go make a move or something like that. But I really think that they can really, have all three of these guys be serviceable and just really continue to have them be what the run game is right now. We never needed to really be top five or, one of the best in the league, but as long as it's serviceable and they can move the ball with it, I think that they'll be fine moving forward.
yeah. I'm with you there, man. I think they'll be fine moving forward. Brashard is just turning it up at the right time. Don't be surprised for everybody here if he is the one guy turning up the most out of all the other running backs, especially going into January. It'll be a special sight to see, man. This is why I'm excited. And now, speaking of that, man, another rookie, according to Ian Rappaport from NFL Network, our rookie second rounder, Omar Norman Lott knee injury is a torn ACL. His season is over. He had over 70 snaps, 5 tackles, a sack sideline, leaving a hole next to Chris Jones.
Yes.
The interior defense needs reinforcements. And yes, some say edge too, to keep Spags NASCAR package Ravin, keeping going.
Yeah.
Speed rush quartet terrorizing quarterbacks without blitzing. The deadline's November 4th. Veach, the clock's ticking, man. So I'm gonna break down some of these guys because we have a $4 million cap space window, and talk about those guys. For one in particular, there's Bradley Chubb. We've been talking about him. He's 29. I think of all the guys, I think he's the better fit in my personal view. Because, he has the elite speed, 6'4", 270, 275. That's the perfect size of a Spags edge rusher, the perfect rotational rusher for Spags NASCAR scheme. The only thing is he has an injury risk because he's just coming back from his ACL injury.
Yeah.
But the upside is huge, bro. And he has a remaining $800,000 base salary. Miami can eat most of that $12.3 million up if they decide to trade him and take on that. And I found out that his trade value personally could be between a conditional third round or a conditional fourth, where we all know the conditional fourth could turn to a third or conditional third could turn into a second, depending on the snaps he plays. There's also Jalen Phillips, another strong one, teammate of Bradley in Miami. Young, bendy, speed. He's ideal for the NASCAR.
Yeah.
Cap could be a stretch for us. You know what I mean? He needs to restructure. He still has a $8.7 million fully guaranteed, and he's 26 years old. He's going to cost a second round pick. And, what's your thoughts between those guys so far?
So I think for your financial aspect, you're probably looking at more Bradley Chubb to kind of be the more cost-effective guy. But in my opinion, if I had to pick between the two, I probably would lean more Jalen Phillips. I think that there's a lot more upside there. Plus, being Veach, I know has this thing where he looks at age, and age is really important to him. Or whatever. It could potentially be one of those things where you do figure out a way to restructure him and also be able to keep him
here for the foreseeable future on a pretty decent, affordable contract if you can work it out that way. To where it's because of the injuries that he's had, to where it could be kind of a prove it, kind of deal where he can stay healthy and then also help out with this defensive line rotation moving forward. So that's where I would probably lean to, is more to Jalen Phillips. I also think he brings a little bit more in the pass rush upside perspective of where this league is kind of transitioning to. No disrespect to Bradley Chubb, but I just think he's an older player, and some of those older players are kind of getting phased out at this point. And I've been saying I think Spags really is gonna have to start adapting his pass rush plan moving forward, because all these quarterbacks now are getting a lot more athletic, being able to move a lot more, and you got to start winning with a lot more speed on the edge position. I think Jalen Phillips brings both of what you like from the speed perspective of the edge, but also being able to be that size that you need as a setting an edge in the run game as well too. So that's where I would probably lean more towards if I had to go get a target for it at the trade deadline.
I'm there with you, man, and this is why I mention this, because it's more like a mixture of what I think, but also what the Chiefs would think if I was with the Chiefs themselves. And that's what they would say. They would say exactly what you're saying, but yeah, it's that money. It's always going to be the money issue.
The money comes first.
It's always going to be that issue, man. So I kind of break these moves down. Like, I'm like, basically, like, as I mentioned to Chris last week, I'm like the Peter Brand character, Jonah Hill's character from Moneyball. I got to talk about those little moves there, because you'd be surprised to see how even little cheap moves could really have that much of an impact, especially a simple rookie contract. Like the greatest example they like to talk about is Dak Prescott as an example. On a rookie contract, or Mahomes. Before Mahomes got there, it was Dak, what he did with the offensive line with Dallas and everything is like that. Also, Russell Wilson on a rookie deal, and have behind that Legion of Boom and beast mode, Marshawn Lynch. So it's just those things you'd like take into consideration. That's why I bring those guys up. And another name I like to bring up is Calais Campbell, man. Yes, he's 39. And I understand age and everything. He's 39. And I know Veach will not buy on that, but here's the thing. Even for a guy his age, he's the top interior fit that will work well next with Chris. You got 6'5" players on the line together. His vet quickness inside is what we need. He slides to the edge in some speed packages. The leadership is also a bonus, and he would be a cheap rental. And lastly, to close this out, the other player, a sleeper, Malik Collins from the Browns. He's 29. He's from the city. Okay, he's from Kansas City. Got $2.5 million left on his contract. He would cost a fifth rounder. He's a solid interior. This is why I like him as my sleeper. His pass rush win rate is one of the best in the league. He could rotate with Jones. Absolutely, bro. Chris needs that help inside, man. And he would add depth without a flash. And another name I had on here before I had to take him off, Jermaine Johnson, because I took him off while I was writing this script yesterday. I know, man. He's 24. He would have been a very good, perfect, man. But for him to say, I ain't going nowhere. Okay, you want to stay with the 1-6 Jets, or no, 0-7 Jets, my guy. Okay, go ahead. But I can understand why they want him to be their cornerstone edge rusher for the future, because he's got that talent. And I can understand that. But what you think about Calais Campbell and Malik?
Calais, I still be interested in both of those guys for the interior. I think that's kind of where you need help the most right now, just because losing over a lot, you lose your depth and kind of rotation at that point. And then I really think they got to get to a point where Chris isn't playing so many snaps for them, especially moving forward. So if Calais or Malik could come in and kind of spell Chris in some of those situations where they need a guy that not only can be a effective pass rusher, but also be effective in the run game as well too. And I know both of those guys could bring you some kind of strength in both of those areas. Calais,
to me, yeah, although he is older, we've seen Veach go out and make, moves for older guys before, bringing in like a Melvin Ingram or bringing in a guy like a Terrell Suggs. So it's not out of his market to where he's done that before. So I could see that happening. Malik, to me, I think would probably be maybe a little bit more of a feasible move for them, just based on where the Cleveland Browns are right now. If you kind of know that they're basically tanking at this point in time, and where the future kind of lies for them. The Cardinals, I think, would be maybe a little bit harder to do business with, because I don't think
Yeah.
they really kind of know where they're at right now. I think they still kind of think if they get Kyler back, then they can kind of be, I don't know. I would feel like that's how they would kind of feel, that they could still potentially be a wild card team or something like that. But I think the deal probably with the Browns will probably be a little bit more easier and feasible for you to get done than going after Calais. Although if I had to pick out of the two, I probably would love Calais to be here, and love to see him be able to compete and actually try to win a ring for once in his career.
That's what I want, man. Just like somebody posted yesterday, especially with the NBA now starting back up again. Somebody mentioned, like, which one of those players, like CP3, or I forgot who it was, but CP3 being in his 21st year, he still hasn't won a ring, man. He's one of those guys, for example, like Calais, you want to see him go out with at least a ring. It was tough to see Randy Moss not have a ring in his career, bro. It's just criminal, man. Like, that's why I'm but Spags, that's just who he is, man. He's just that dude.
Yeah.
So these hit our budget if sellers eat bonuses. Bradley Chubb, Phillips, Calais Campbell scream, do it now for immediate impact. Campbell for the trenches, Phillips or Chubb for the edge pop, or someone else to keep Spags NASCAR humming. Just hit us up, Chiefs Kingdom, and let us know who you guys want us to go after, especially during this deadline before November 4th at 4 p.m. New York time or 3 p.m. our time here. So
I do think that there's one guy that they could potentially maybe make some calls on. That's Carl Granderson for the New Orleans Saints.
Yes,
he would fit.
Yes.
He would kind of fit the size and profile of what what Spags likes at his edges. He has 4.5 sacks on the year. He's a leading sack leader in New Orleans right now on a very bad team. So if New Orleans is thinking about selling as well too, that'd be somebody I make calls on as well.
Absolutely, bro. Yeah, man. I would make that call, but I also saw today on Twitter. We're going to our next segment, though, folks. I saw somebody said that they saw Colin Saunders at KCI. I'm like, please don't tell me this is one of those other. I saw this guy at the airport. I did see that he read that Colin did run into Yao Ming.
Yeah. Having Binky back in KC would definitely be great. Not really sure what the plan that the Jags have for him right now, because he hasn't been playing for them. So I mean, if each wants to make that call too, I was pretty sure that move would be very feasible. We've seen him go out and get former players before for very cheap options, like a McCole Harmon, when he traded for McCole Harmon a couple of years to get him back here. So it's not outside the realm for Veach to go and do something like that. But I don't know. The Jags they're in a weird position too right now, where they're a fringe wild card team as well too. So I don't know if they're looking to sell or looking to move on for players. Hopefully, my hope is that they just release them so that you can end up bringing them back anyway. So
I'm hoping for that too, bro. I'm hoping for that as well. So, all right, Chiefs Kingdom, it's time for segment 2, where we dive into, as I do my part of my players of the game, from our 31 to 0 belt to ass of the Raiders, or annihilation, as you may put it. And this one was so lopsided. Our 2-time MVP, Mahomes, was chilling on the bench the whole fourth quarter. So let's crown the offensive and defensive kings who made Vegas fold, man. And I'm gonna do my 2. I'll start off on offense. And I'm gonna ask you who your offensive player of the game was, and then I'm gonna talk about the defense, and then we'll go off of that. So
yeah.
Offense for me, I gotta go with Mr. EGE himself, Rashee Rice, back from a year-long knee injury and that March 24th crash suspend from 2024. He hauled in 7 of those catches for 42 yards, but 2 tutties, both from Mahomes' laser arm. Again, Pat was surgical. Once again, 25 of 35, 286 passing, 3 tutties. But Rice's spark lit up our first 5 drives, piling up those 434 total yards. Rice said it himself. This is a glimpse of what's possible in Kingdom. That future's bright. Mahomes knows it too. He said it. We want to be better, but this was a step, as he said. Step. Yeah. Nah, son, this is a leap. That was a leap. We're going to take either further more leaps, man. And double coverage, triple coverage, demonstrate how much the quarterback, how much Mahomes trusts Rashee. He runs with such strength and power that he feels like a running back, especially when I see him on tape. Yeah. This is why I'm glad his presence now, as I mentioned earlier, not only opens up the offense, but also creates passing opportunities for guys like Redshirt Smith, who, had his career high in all categories of the game. Noah Gray, who caught that 28-yard pass early in the first quarter. Yep. And then you got Tyquan Thornton, who, despite only had 1 catch, gained 39 yards deep. Putting the best players on the field, especially with Rashee, is vital. That's why we saw so much of Redshirt Smith last week, and we will continue to do so. And so who's your offensive player of the game?
I think I'll go with the guy you just said, Redshirt Smith. To me, the uptick in his touches this week, I thought he did a great job of just, man, when he gets the ball, he does a great job of just getting north and using his explosion to gain yak yards. And I think that's something that this especially this running back group really needed at this point in time. So love that they're getting him involved a lot more. I think he's really impressing Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at this point. Is really gaining their trust in a sense right now to kind of be more of that scat back that they need back there to kind of give them that change of pace. I would love to see him get a little bit more touches as far as in the run game and just using him in that area as well too. I know he got some touches later on in the fourth quarter behind the backup offensive line. So would love to see what he can do with the starting offensive line and with some touches as well. But I think the potential for him is really there to keep growing and continue to really turn into something for this offense moving forward. So yeah, Redshirt Smith would be my offensive player of the week.
I like that. Redshirt can help defenses both rushing and catching, which is why he's seeing more playing time with Rice back, and he's going to continue to see it. Dual threat running backs like him, even though he was a former wide receiver, converting to running back, they force defenses to be versatile and help the offenses keep their top playmakers on the field in any situation. And that was in reference to when I mentioned to have the best players at any position out there. I mean, additionally, you got Tyquan Thornton, who is among the few NFL players with effortless speed, showing no effort as he sprints down that sideline and can easily pull away from defenders more often than not, man. He's going to be what Marquez Valdez-Scantling was supposed to be for us and with the Packers when they had Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry. I have to say it. Everyone in the stadium, from the field to the stands, feels the fans' excitement as they celebrate a big play for their team. And those plays can change the momentum of a game and give the team a lift. And Tyquan is that player that will continue to create more of them big plays down the stretch for us. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So defense, I got to say Chris Jones, no question, 2 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, setting the tone for the defense that, choked the Raiders to only 3 first downs and just 95 total yards. Yeah. Geno Smith was 10 of 16 for 67 yards. Ashton Genty, that stud rookie right there, that was we were talking about, man, just 6 carries and 21 yards. That's our 10th win in 11 against Vegas, and Chris Jones was just that wrecking ball, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Chris has definitely been very effective. I think he's more effective when he receives less snaps, and it's not out there trying to wear himself out. So if they can continue to kind of lighten the load on him or whatever, I think it can make him a lot more effective in the especially in the pass rush game.
Oh, absolutely, man. He's still a relentless guy at age 31. He's been making a lot of plays in the backfield. That's why we haven't seen most of. Of course, everybody know he coined the term "Sack Nation," and of course, our guy Boogie coined the term "Pressure Nation." And there's nothing wrong with either term, man. But whatever works to help us get that win on defense, whether it's a sack or just creating that pressure where it would cause a sack or cause an errant throw by the opposing quarterback. He's been one of our top players in tackles for losses since last year, and that's been 2 consecutive years. This is probably the second or third consecutive year. You guys have to have watched. We watched, him relentlessly go from sideline to sideline, from either stopping the quarterback or stopping the run. You watch other players in the league, and they don't play like that. I mean, his effort energizes the rest of the guys, and you see it every Sunday. They don't want to look bad getting passed up by him. He embodies the standard of what we want by the physical way that he plays by his position. Just watching him on tape is just really fun. So, yeah. So, who's your defensive player of the game from that Sunday?
For me, it's hard to kind of pinpoint because I think the defense as a whole was just phenomenal. Especially when you only give up 95 total yards of offense or whatever. So I think if I had to pick out a guy, probably be Leo Chanel. In the way he's played especially these last several weeks, in my opinion. The versatility that he brings to this defense, Spags being able to not only use him as far as in the pass game, but use him on the line as another edge rusher. It's been phenomenal to see his growth and the ways that they use him or whatever. He's just such a kind of a diamond in the rough kind of linebacker because he can just do so many things so well. I think he's really made that linebacking core one of the best in the league at this point in time. So with him, Nick, and Drew. I think it really lightens the load on what they put on Nick and Drew at this point in time because they can just stick him anywhere on the defense and he continuously makes plays or does the right things that they need him to do, whether it's setting the edge or basically going out there and guarding a running back or being a QB spy at this point. So Leo Chanel, man, has been phenomenal this season and I think it's really going to pay dividends, especially in the contract year for him.
Yeah, man, I really think that for real. And Leo, I think he'll have the opportunity to get his contract. He's been a big part. I'm still in awe and shocked that he still made that one-handed interception against Lamar. It's like that might be one of the best defensive plays all year, not just from the Chiefs, but in the entire NFL. Yeah. And Leo's not that type of guy to do that. He's more of a rushing, blitzing linebacker with an occasion to play on the edge, but for him to learn how to play the full linebacking position, similarly the same way Derek Johnson had to learn to play all 3 positions, whether it's strong side, the middle, the Mike, or the Will. It's just great for all our linebackers to learn that. That's why I can't wait to see the further development of Jeffrey Bassa. I mean, looking forward to that. But before we move on to the final segment of the night, I got to commend somebody who I called out last week. Harrison Bucker.
Right.
Keep it up, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't look back. Keep it going. Don't take your foot off that gas when it comes to making every kick. Yes. And also making sure your kicks on kickoffs don't go out of bounds to where the opposing team that gets on the 40. Thank you, sir. Keep it going. So
please.
That's all I got to say on that one. But all right. So the final segment, ladies and gentlemen, we're locking in on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
We host the Commanders in 3 days. And here's the scoop. ESPN reports that Washington's quarterback, Jaden Daniels is out with a low-grade hamstring strain. His MRI is clean, but they're playing it safe with him. So we got Marcus Mariota stepping up for his third start of 2025. It's time to break down my 3 keys to going 5-3 and how we could use the examples of that belt to ass we've been putting on Baltimore, the Lions, and the Raiders, and apply that to this game here.
Yeah.
Key number 1. Hold on, my guy really said it, bro. That's what it is. Still an interception from the defense right there. That's key number 1. Force turnovers and pressure Mariota. He's no slouch, right? But he's shaky under fire. Against Dallas, he came in for Daniels with 11:53 left in the third, went 4 of 10 for 63 yards, tossing a pick 6 to Deron Bland. Week 6, the Commanders coughed it up 3 times in that loss to the Bears. Our defense, 5th in yards allowed, 3rd in points, got to make him sweat. Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, you need to collapse the pocket. No time for reads. Make him force those errant throws. Trent McDuffie, Noel Williams, Jaden Hicks, Shamari Connor, Brian Cook, whenever that ball is in your area, get your hands on it. Try to return a pick 6 as much as you can. Try to do like what Ed Reed used to do, because Ed Reed said every time he got an interception, he was always going to go for them touchdowns. And that's why he's one of my favorite. He's actually my favorite safety of all time. If Mariota scrambles, slap a spy on him. I think Drew Tranquil might be the perfect spy, or it might be Leo. But turnovers will flip this game. Yeah, they probably are going to make it to the game, though. But, yeah, that's my key number 1. Just first force those turnovers and pressure Mariota. That's 1. Key number 2, run it down their freaking throats and screen it up.
Yeah.
The Commanders' run D is ass. Soft. S-O-F capital T. Soft. 677 rushing yards allowed. That's the 8th most allowed by any defense in the NFL. But here's the other kicker. They've allowed 291 receiving yards to opposing running backs. That's the 5th most yards allowed.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson and DeAndre Swift ate them alive in weeks 4 and 6. Our running back room, Pacheco, Hunt, Smith, plus Mahomes' legs, and a little bit on occasion Worthy should feast. Pacheco led with 57 rushing yards and his first rushing touchdown of the season last week. On pace for, as I mentioned, a 1,000-yard scrimmage season for the first time since 2023. Hunt's our red zone hammer. You got Smith, who had career high 181 scrimmage yards against the Raiders. Screens to these guys and patch runs. That's a top 10 rushing attack mixed in with the pass cooking on them. I feel like if you use that part of the game, that will help us out. And last but not least, attack the middle of the field with Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
Dallas torched Washington 44-22 with Dak hitting, throwing 21 of 30 for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns, but 2 of those 3 were to Jake Ferguson, who's got 50 catches and 6 touchdowns through 7 games, and NFL first for him, I guess, or whatever that's supposed to mean. These records, they always make up. The whole point is they expose Washington's secondary, especially over the middle, even with the aging, one of the GOATs, future Hall of Famers, Bobby Wagner, patrolling the middle over there with the green dot. Rashee is fresh off of those 7 catches, 42 yards, and 2 TDs in his debut. Has plus 5 catches in 10 of his last 11 games and a touchdown in 3 of the last 4 he's played. Kelce has had 54 yards receiving last week and 99 in the last matchup against the Commanders, and he's aiming for his 3rd straight 50-yard receiving game. You sprinkle in Xavier Worthy's what he's been doing and get him going. And then also don't forget about Tyquan Thornton going deep too, because here's the other thing about them too. Not only they're just terrible in stopping wide receivers, I think they're just like the Raiders. I think they're giving up the 6th most receiving yards to opposing wide receivers, right? Like the Raiders, and we saw what we did to the Raiders last week. But here's the kicker. They've allowed the highest yard per reception in the NFL. It don't matter if it's to a receiver or a tight end. They suck at stopping the deep balls. Matter of fact, I think they've allowed the most 40-plus yard receiving plays this season so far, 8 of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's time to see Tyquan feast on them. So those are my 3 keys. Force those turnovers and pressure Mariota, running down their throats and screening up to our running backs. Attack the middle of the field with Rice and Kelsey. You got anything keys as well?
Yeah, I think it's what you said. Just forcing turnovers, making Mariota's life hectic back there. Commanders aren't too effective at running the ball, so I think that essentially if you can shut down the run game and try to put it in Mariota's hands, you got a couple opportunities for him to give you a few in the passing game. So Commanders look like they'll probably have their top 2 weapons back in Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. They've been practicing this week, so that could be something that essentially would help them. But in a sense, but neither one of those guys, I don't think have played that much with Mariota as well too. So hopefully that chemistry doesn't will work in the Chiefs' favor. I think another thing too is the biggest key in going into the game though is the middle of the field for the Washington Commanders. At that linebacker, especially at the linebacker spot, they're just a little, in my opinion, a little old and slow. Love Bobby Wagner. I think he's a Hall of Fame player, but a guy that definitely is not the same player that he used to be at one point in time. So I think that you can kind of take advantage of those spots too. And to me, I think one of the other spots you can kind of test and go at and see is Marshawn Lattimore, who's kind of been on the downslide as well too in his career. So just testing out and seeing where both of those guys kind of are. I think that's who you kind of got to key in on this point. Commanders also really don't have a great pass rush threat. They lost their best pass rush threat, in my opinion, in Dorrance Armstrong, who's out for the season. So I think if you're able to hold up well and if Pat gets the amount of time he got against the Raiders, it's going to be a long night for that, especially for that middle of the field, especially with Rasheed being back fully at this point. So if they can figure out a way to get Rasheed in the slot and get him some mismatches against some of those linebackers, I think it could be a long night for the Washington Commanders defense. Obviously, Dan Quinn is one of the better defensive minds we've seen in this league, so I'm assuming that he'll have some kind of game plan trying to draw it up for Mahomes and company. But obviously you're going up against one of the better offensive minds in Andy Reid. So hopefully they've been working on some things to kind of expose the middle of the field of that Commanders defense. So we'll see how it goes. Man.
Absolutely. So there you have it, people. Force those turnovers and pressure Mariota. Running down their throats to get those screens going. Yeah. And lastly, as DG just mentioned, attack that middle of the field, especially with those linebackers at secondary and Marshawn Lattimore. Dang, is it sad to say that Marshawn might be not only just sad to see he's a shell of his former self, but he might be the new Eli Apple.
Yeah, he's definitely not the same player that he used to be. And I tweeted this out a while back. I remember there was a lot of Chiefs Kingdom who wanted Greg Veach to go and get Marshawn Lattimore at one point and was really upset and mad about him going to the Washington Commanders. And I know a lot of people are starting to regret or really, really appreciate what Brett Veach did and not being able to make that trade happen. So, yeah, man. Sometimes some guys just end up going past their prime. I think for cornerbacks in this league,
it's a certain window that they're in. You got to just capitalize on it, especially when they're a younger player. So, still think he's obviously still a good player, still being able to be in this league for this long, but just not the same player he used to be.
Absolutely, man. All right, people. Before we end the show, let's hear a word from our sponsors. All right, Chiefs Kingdom. Before we close it out here, there's one game changer for your picks in October, especially when we're talking about underdog fantasy. The ultimate spot to crush those parlays and stack that cash while backing your squad up. October, the rest of October until the end of the 31st is Boostober Unlimited, baby. Every single day until next week, next Friday, you get 30% profit boost on any parlay you drop. That's right, y'all. Mahomes lighting up the Commanders secondary on Monday night, boosted. Rashee Rice with 50-plus receiving yards, boosted. My Jayhawks putting on a butt whooping tomorrow, boosted. I don't care what y'all say. Whatever. Stack them up, man. Watch the payouts explode. Shoot. Betting on Mizzou, boosted.
Yeah.
Shoot, you know what I mean? Or Texas, boosted. Live that Chiefs Kingdom high, or that, NBA season is back, boost that as well with certain props. Head to Underdog Fantasy right now. Sign up. Lock in that edge with the promo code KingdomCast. That's our group name, Kingdom Cast, KINGDOMKAST, all in bold letters. It's your ticket to unlimited boost and nonstop action. Don't sleep on it, y'all. Download the app. Enter Kingdom Cast, and let's turn those picks into wins. Underdog Fantasy, where the boost never stop and neither does the fun.
Yes, sir.
Yes. All right, DG, before we get out of here, man, tell the people what you got going forward and where they can find you, and what can we see from you in the next episodes of Tell the Truth and the Redshirt podcast.
Yeah. I always know y'all can find me on here, man. Tell the Truth on Tuesdays. It's usually at 6:30, but sometimes 7:00 as well too. With D-Mac and my boy CJ, as well as us breaking down film and taking some of your guys' questions and things of that nature and talking about the Chiefs season moving forward. Redshirt podcast as well on Wednesdays at 6:00 with my boy Trey breaking down college football and the college football playoffs, and then moving forward when we get to the off season into draft prospects as well too. Also, you can find me you can follow me on Twitter and Keep It Prolific for the moment right now. You won't see me on there because currently my account is hacked. So currently trying to get my account back. But go ahead and still follow me on there because I will be back on there eventually soon. So, but yeah, find me on there. Man, anywhere else, Facebook, Derek Griffin. Trying to think of where else you can find me at. Pretty much anywhere in the spaces on Twitter as well too. Just follow me. I'm always here to take questions or whatever. Bet the House Discord as well with my boy CJ and Chuck on there as well, dropping plays and parlays and things of that nature. So join the Discord. Reach out to me or CJ or Chuck or any one of us, or even my boy P-Mac is in there as well at times too. Reach out to us and we'll get you tapped in with the Discord. Just a great community of people, no cost or anything like that. We just have fun and just share our plays and things of that nature. Just try to create a great space for sports betting. So, yeah, man. Absolutely. That's where you can find me at, man.
Exactly. That's good, man. At least we ain't trying to pull no Terry Rozier stuff or no Chauncey Billups.
Illegal. No illegal.
It's nothing illegal, man. It's nothing we're doing illegal, okay? LeBron and them did that. I can't wait for Chuck's reaction.
Yeah, that's
him and my brother. My brother gonna be like, I told you.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Man. But anyway, thank you, DG, for coming on, man. it was amazing. You're one of those voices that I wanted on here. In the future, I'm definitely bringing on D-Mac, bringing on CJ, especially D-Mac and P-Mac again. First time since I did the episode with on Chiefs Focus over the draft, man. I love being part of Kingdom Cast. And ladies and gentlemen, I am Philip P. McGruder. That is DG right over here, man. And that is it for episode 4 of the McGruder Files. I will see you guys next weekend. Peace out. Stay safe. And let's get that W. Let's go, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.